Hi and good afternoon. I'm Dr. Michelle Pedicola of Secrets of Life and Death and Second Chance Secrets, helping speakers, motivational speakers, leaders, change makers to monetize their message and their mission by creating high-end programs that make a difference. I'm going to be doing a workshop webinar on this topic next Tuesday. That's October 8th at 1:30. I was going to do this particular Facebook Live through Zoom, but the gods of communication were not cooperating with me, so I'm just appearing live. Rest assured that I will post that on my group, this group, Share Your Brilliance Training. Hi, thank you for joining. So come back here. But I would recommend that you take a look at the link to the Zoom call. And if you want to be there, be sure to be there live. Join me on the Zoom call. And I'm going to be sharing some really important information that is relevant to you. That is how to make a living in this new online business, in this new online arena. If you have been a motivational speaker and you're used to attracting your clients through live speaking, this is a whole different world. You don't get the same trust, you don't have the same impact when you speak online that you do when you speak face to face. I know, I have been speaking in person for years, and I know how that makes a difference for people. But now we're speaking online, and how are you getting your word out, your message out? Now, I know that over those years, I've also done a lot of radio shows, podcasts, and indeed, I have gotten some of my best clients that way. But I have relied upon the person who is interviewing me and their membership. So that's one thing that you want to do as you move to the online arena. Now, if you're used to speaking and getting paid, well, this is certainly eating into your ability to make an income, because we are not doing very many live events right now, certainly not in California. I don't know where you are, but it's still very, very restricted, and it's likely to get pretty difficult again as the virus ramps up for the cold weather season. So what are you going to do? Well, any inspirational or motivational speaker usually has a second income stream. You know, Tony Robbins, he's got a whole program. He's got a whole cadre of people. There are some others, but I forgot to write down their names. Do I have their names here? No, guess not. Anyway, hi, thank you for joining. Anyway, you need to find a way to monetize your business anyway. I knew one woman who actually made all of her living from speaking. She spoke about, I guess it was dementia. And there were many, many healthcare organizations that wanted to hear her speak. She had written a book. But the fact of the matter is that when I spoke to her, she'd been doing it for about 3 years and she was exhausted because of all the traveling. She was traveling all over the United States. So you do need another income stream. So probably you already know that. What do you do? Well, coaching is a good way to go. Coaching is a $2 billion business. And right now it doesn't take a lot to get into it. The problem is that it's not very easy to stay in it. The dirty secret about coaching is how many people fail. The statistics are around 90% drop out in the first 2 years of being coaches. And I talked to a really lovely woman not too long ago who had studied to be a coach, equine coach, life coach. In other words, she would give her clients their transformation through connection with horses. And horses are amazing creatures and they're very psychic. And you cannot hide and you cannot pretend around a horse. The horse knows. But she's never made a business out of it because, well, she didn't like the sales aspect of it for sure. And she never was able to get her business off the ground. So I'm going to take a few moments to talk to you about 3 different business models. I've done them all. The first one was the one I started out with. You know, you take a few coaching classes on how to run a business. And the first one I did was what you call dollars for hours or ear for hire. And that's where you charge maybe $100, $125 an hour. And if you do the math, you realize that that's not really sustainable. You say, well, okay, so maybe I only want to make $60,000. I should be able to do that. You know, what is that like? If I charge $100, maybe if I did 5 clients every week. But the fact of the matter is that your clients don't stay around forever. And so you're always constantly having to get new clients. And so you're always having to promote yourself. And you actually spend more time promoting yourself and trying to get new clients than you actually do spending working with your clients. So it's exhausting. And eventually you realize this is not sustainable. So you drop down a chunk of money to find out there must be a better way, which is what I did. The first chunk of money I spent was on a group that promised to show me how to film my workshops. What they didn't tell me was that they were going to film my workshops that were for free. They were not bringing me money. I already knew how to do that. Hi, thank you for joining. And the other part of this model, this is like the first one I talked about, the ear for hire, that's what I call low end, where you're really underselling yourself. You're selling yourself for $100, $125 an hour. It's dollars for hours, and it's not sustainable. Now the second one, you start out low end, and then you try and trick people into high end. And that was what this particular program did for me. You know, I dropped down my $2,000, went to this event, 3-day event, really exciting, and they did teach me some marketing. I gotta give them that. But then they were, well, now you need to know how to give a good workshop, and this is gonna cost $5,000. And now you need to know how to monetize it, and that's gonna be another $7,000. And then you have to go travel up to Canada, and that's going to be, you know, another $1,000 there. And so pretty soon I'm in the, you know, the 5-figure investment. And it turned out that in that particular program, the leader gave me a niche that she wanted me to have, not the niche that was right for me. And the way in which she was having us sell was from the stage. Now that's not the way to start selling. You need to learn how to enroll people. And I hadn't a clue. And the first time I did an event, I fell flat on my face. As soon as I started pitching, people ran out of the room en masse. I was devastated, and I didn't want to ever, I mean, it took me like 2 months to get those people to that room. I was like, well, this doesn't work. So then I tried another one of these from low end to high end. They always have high end also, guaranteed. You know, $20,000, $50,000 high end programs for later on, for when you start making more money, if you survive that long. So this next one was a little bit better because they talked about steps. And I realized that I was in the first step, the first layer, and that there were 3 steps. Now, this same group, hi, thank you for joining. This same group are now inviting people to step into the second step because the first step really isn't available anymore. And it's so complicated. It's this big, huge funnel of how you have to have a CRM, and you have to have a large mailing list, and you have to have lead magnets, and you have all these different moving parts, and you need a team to support you. And so going into it, starting out, you have to invest a lot of money. Now they're starting out with a low end. They say, oh, you only have to pay $300 to get this online training. Well, they're not going to be there. You're just getting the training. And then you're going to find out pretty soon that you need to know a lot more. like how to promote yourself, how to present yourself. And so let me tell you about the last one, which is high end. You start out high end, you set yourself up as high end, you work on developing programs that are high end. And what I mean by high end is that they make a real difference for your clients. Quick, fast, unbelievable difference. Now, what I found out when I decided to take this particular business model was that I had to upgrade myself as well as my program. And what's amazing is my clients are upgraded too, because they are at a different caliber. They are motivated, they are intelligent, they are committed. Part of it is, yes, they're investing more money, but part of it is I'm upgrading and they're upgrading. And you know what the coolest thing is? That I spend more of my time coming up with new ideas and developing my programs, which is what I love to do, than managing teams or promoting myself. Now, one of the things that I find about doing this is that you need a new voice for online. You need a new way of interacting with your people online. It's not the same as speaking on a stage. And I love speaking on a stage because you can feel your audience. You can say something and see how they react. You can play them like a musical instrument. It's fabulous. And afterwards, they are so excited. They come up and they talk to you and they tell you how much they enjoyed your event. And here online, you're speaking to a tiny lens. That's what I'm doing. I'm speaking to a tiny lens. And you actually have to develop a new sense of awareness to feel your people on the other side. You know what I'm talking about. If you tried to speak online, how that feels, and maybe you get somebody, hi, there's a person listening to me, and then they get busy and something happens, or maybe, oh, did I get boring? And they go away. So you have to learn to speak in a different way. This is the great thing about high end. Now, I had a person who I was networking, that I met at a networking event, and she said, well, isn't high end elitist? And I understand, because when I started out, I wanted to help everybody in the world. I was a grief and loss counselor, and I wanted to help everybody. But my competition was free grief groups. So who wanted to pay my fee when they could get grief groups for free? And oftentimes through hospice, they could get free counseling as well, or maybe very, very low level, like $5 or $10. So that wasn't working for me. The only people who really wanted to work with me were other coaches who wanted quick results and they wanted deep transformation. And that's what I offered. I was like, grief is a gateway to a new life purpose. Grief and loss are wake-up calls. Now, not everybody wants that. In fact, my guess is that your true best high-end perfect clients are other coaches. They're motivated, they're passionate, they care about their message, and they want to work at optimum level. Therefore, you need to engage them at that high end. Otherwise, why would they choose you? You have to be unique. You need to be special. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in the webinar, the workshop. I'm calling it a workshop because we're going to be doing some work there. Next Tuesday at 1:30 Pacific Daylight Saving Time. I think we're still at Daylight Saving Time forever. And I'm going to be doing it on Zoom. So go to well, you're probably already in here, your Share Your Brilliance trainings. You'll find the link to the Zoom call. Go ahead and show up for the Zoom. You don't have to register, just show up. I will remind you, I will come on and say, come on, we're starting now. Because here's the thing, I don't know whether Facebook is going to cooperate or not. I just tried to come on Facebook through Zoom, and, it went doing this spinning ball of death thing for like 5-10 minutes. And I said, well, I want to get this message out today. So back to the person I met at the networking event who said, isn't it elitist? Well, here's the thing. You need to get your message out, and you need to monetize your work. You need to make a difference in the world. That's what we're here for. You need to make a difference. You need your voice heard, and you need to support yourself. And so you need to find a business model that works for you. Now, the low end did not work for me. The numbers didn't work. It takes as much work, it's true, to enroll a high-end. In fact, it's easier to enroll a high-end client than it is to enroll a low-end client, a client who wants to, get things for free. Now, I did that for a while. I went sort of that medium level from low to high, and then I dropped down into the low end again. And I was offering workshops. They were groups for like $300. And you know what? The people were not committed. You drop down some money, and not only do you upgrade yourself by committing, but then you stay committed. If you pay $10K for a program, you don't give up. You keep on working and working. And that's the kind of clients you want. Because eventually what you want to do is work with clients where you are enabling them. You are enabling them and empowering them to be their authentic self, to be strong. You don't want them forever, unless you keep on coming up with new things or new ways, and that's the way my coach is. She's always coming up with new ideas. She is amazing. Unfortunately, she's probably already out of your range right now, but she comes up with new ideas all the time. And that's what coaching is about for me, is coming up with my genius all the time. And yes, some of it is marketing genius, and that's kind of fun. I've found a way to market myself, which, I don't even need a VA anymore. I can do this. I can have a life, and I can make a difference. So come to my workshop next week, and let's talk about this and talk about what you need to develop a high-end program to attract high-end clients. And now I'm not talking high-end like Tony Robbins. I don't know, he charges like $6 million or something for his private clients. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about 5-figure investments. And then you can have lower-end programs as well. And I'm going to talk about that, how you can set that up. So if you have any questions, or please, I love the fact that you're still watching me, post something, send me some hearts, make some kind of gesture towards me, and I would really appreciate it. Say what kind of issues you're struggling with. What's your interest in motivational speaking or leadership or changing the world? More than ever, the world needs our voice. It needs us in a very specific way. It needs us to be authentic. And it also needs us to live our lives fully, because that's what we're here for. This morning I was talking, I've been doing Facebook Lives every morning at 7:30 in the morning Pacific time, talking about stepping out of the box, doing something different to energize you. And today I talked about fear, how fear holds us back. How fear is this emotion that gets in the way of our ability to think clearly. So right now we are in a cultural environment that is high-level fear. If you watch the news, if you're watching the debates, if you're involved in politics, there is a lot of fear promotion, because some leaders believe that fear is a good way to get people to take action quickly. Well, it is, but it is an action that comes from intelligence. And so maybe that says something about the leaders that feel like they don't want their people, their constituency, to operate from their intelligence. But I'm inviting you to take a different tactic. First of all, to not engage in interactions or consumption of media that instigates fear in your life. You want to be operating from the highest level. And the more of us who do that, the more we have an impact on this planet. Okay, so that was a little bit of an aside, but I thought you might enjoy that. I often work with my clients to help them to release emotions. And sometimes people are afraid of their emotions. I know that I was brought up being very afraid and very tamped down. It's not good for your health. So that's one of the things I give my clients are the tools to deal with emotions. Because when you upgrade, you're going to feel fear. You're going to be pushing the envelope. You're going to be pushing your comfort zone. And that's one of the things that I teach people is how do you release that fear and how do you move forward even though you are afraid. And notice the way in which you sabotage, notice the way in which you resist, and notice the way in which you delay. Hey, Maria, yes, high end for a high end, thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you for joining me. So I hope you come to my workshop next week. That would be lovely. And let's see if I have anything more to say. Okay, so just wanted to say with high-end marketing, high-end clients, and high-end programs for a high-end you. We upgrade together. It's wonderful. And the better your clients, so here's the fear that comes up. We're afraid of engaging with clients who are equal to us, that might even in some ways seem above us. But we have a special gift that we are offering them. And they engage us, and they ask us to show up on a different level. And that upgrades us. It stimulates us. It makes us more creative. So wouldn't you like that? Wouldn't you like that in your life? To be more creative, more dynamic, more excited? Don't you want to live your life fully? That is the offer of the high impact approach. Christine Whitehead Lavola, I'm aiming to catch this session. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Okay, so this is great. What else do I have to say? Let me see if I can find anything that I haven't talked about. So who are your clients? Who is your niche? It's really important for you to be really clear about who you're targeting. And notice how you feel when you start to target higher end clients. Do you feel insecure? Do you feel shy? Do you feel like you're not up for it? That is part of the upgrade. And let's see. Oh, so you have to trust your work. So part of the high end is that you actually need to develop programs that make a difference. My programs from the get-go did make a difference. But I got to be honest with you, I have a PhD in sociology, and I had been doing programming and working with people in group homes for many years. And I worked in hospice for many years, so I actually had the knowledge of what kind of things worked. And with the academic training, I could put programs together. But you know what? I was still operating at that attitude of feeling like I was responsible for that person getting their results. When you work with high-end clients, they take responsibility for themselves. And I have actually developed programs that get results whether I'm there or not. And yes, I'm there for my clients, and I give them everything I have. I don't make any discrimination between my high end and my low end. When I am with them, I'm with them 100%. So you want to develop a program that is truly high-end. You can't take your old program and then just offer it with a few more zeros on the end. You need to believe in it. And that's part of the program that I'm going to be talking to you about in the workshop next Tuesday. Okay, I got to get to the bank, and it's Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Come back on Tuesday. Bring your friends. Bring yourself, and be brilliant. Bye for now.